All right, my friends, welcome back to the Wealth Outside of Wall Street channel, where you are going to learn how to get your money off of Wall Street so you can ultimately retire in 10 years or less. So today I'm going to share with you just a teeny little gem, the secret to what you do once your money is off Wall Street and what's possible to you, but it comes from the most unlikely place. It's going to come from Senator Elizabeth Warren, who is a borderline socialist.
Who, in your mind, should pay for all of the free things?
All of the free things? Well, some of it should come from taxes, but the government should pay for it.
But the government is funded by taxes.
Yeah.
So let's see what this borderline socialist can tell us about building real wealth and becoming financially free and using the secret to wealth creation. So on this video, Senator Elizabeth Warren is interviewing billionaire Ken Langone. And Ken is going to talk a little bit about how he's built his wealth, what type of tax he's paying, and Senator Elizabeth Warren is going to drop an absolute bomb. She has no idea. She's literally giving you the insider's playbook. Let's go.
You're right. I made all the money. I paid the government what I owed them. What I had left, I put at risk. I could have lost it all.
Okay, I love this. Here's a billionaire telling you about investing. Look, he made money. He paid the government exactly what was owed. I want you to consider this. It is not your constitutional obligation or even a demand to pay the government any more than you have to. This is why it's so critically important to understand the tax code.
It's never too early to learn that the government is a greedy piglet that suckles on a taxpayer's teat until they have sore, chapped nipples.
The tax code, if you let it, will allow you to pay nothing in some cases in taxes. Now, if you don't know what you're doing, you'll pay progressively more and more and more of your income in tax. This is what a 401k does. It traps you in the highest possible tax bracket. Now, the other thing that this billionaire is talking about is after he paid his taxes, he put his money at risk, which is the concept of investing. So I want to point that out as we get to what Senator Elizabeth Warren is going to talk about here.
I could have lost it all, but I paid my share. I have a bigger issue for the senator that I think I would hope she would address that to me is apple pie and motherhood. Senator,
could we talk about the wealth tax?
Here she comes. Here she comes.
We'll change subjects here.
Senator, I have an easy one for you, and you're going to be shocked that I'm bringing it up from a fat cat Wall Street guy. How do you rationalize giving me $3,000 a month check every month with all my wealth? Why don't you people have the courage to address entitlements as to what should no longer be an entitlement?
Okay, I love this. Now, here's a billionaire saying, look, government, stop handing out money willy-nilly. Start taking control, making sure the money goes where it needs to go. Now listen, I'm all for Social Security. Social Security is literally bankrupt. And here's a billionaire trying to throw an olive branch out to a senator to say, why don't you steward those resources more effectively? He doesn't need the $3,000. Make sure to keep and retain that so we can actually give it to someone who does. But that's not the point yet. We're going to get a little bit deeper into this.
I shouldn't get Social Security. Second thing, I pay a minimum alternative tax. I pay a tax. No matter what my deductions, I owe the government so much money. Why don't corporations have a minimum tax? Third, what about the carried interest? Why not address that? These are home runs in terms of right versus wrong, in my opinion.
So here is a billionaire simplifying the tax code down so simple that even a senator, you would think, could understand it. But Senator Warren is going to drop a nugget here. I got to stop pausing it. Let's hear what she says.
I'll give you one example. This is shocking. Take all the corporate taxes paid in America last year as told by the government, what they got in. Home Depot paid 1% of all those taxes. One company that didn't exist 42 years ago. We take good care of our associates. Our vendors love dealing with us. It's profitable. We give back to our community. And by the way, our shareholders have compounded at 27% a year from the day we went public 40 years ago. Everybody has done well and we've paid full taxes. Why didn't you address these? These are slam dunks, Senator. Tell me why I should get a check and my wife gets another $1,000 on top of that. Take it away from me. Have the courage to do it. I know it's the third rail of politics, but do it.
So let's start with the wealth tax. That's where we were.
You don't want to address the issue. You don't want to address the issue of how I'm getting $4,000 a month from the government and I shouldn't be getting it?
Can Can I answer some of these questions?
Sure, please.
All right, thank you. So I'll start with the first one, and that was the question about the wealth tax. Remember, let's look at someone like Jeff Bezos, who is worth $1 bazillion. He has not paid taxes on all of that wealth. Don't describe it that way.
Okay. Guys, get out your popcorn. Here it comes, okay? I'm going to pause it right here because she just called out Jeff Bezos, okay? She says Jeff Bezos has not paid taxes on all of his wealth. Now, before we get to the answer of how this is possible, I want you to ask yourself a question. What would your wealth look like if you could build wealth and not pay taxes? Is Jeff Bezos breaking the law? Does he have a constitutional obligation to pay more taxes than the tax code is written to tell him he has to pay? And the answer to all of that is no. If Jeff Bezos was breaking the law, where would he be? He would be in jail, right? The IRS would be coming after him, but all Jeff Bezos is doing is he understands one little nuance in the tax code. And when you understand this one little nuance in the tax code, you don't have to be a billionaire, or what did she say, a quadra gazillionaire, I don't even know what she said, but you do not have to be Jeff Bezos to take advantage of this one caveat in the tax code. Now, I've recorded other videos on this topic, but I've never heard a senator call it out like you're about to hear right here. So get out your popcorn because the secret to wealth is coming right now.
In fact, Jeff Bezos, many years, has either paid nothing in taxes or has paid about 1%. Why? Because his income is very, very small, but he continues to grow his wealth through all of his Amazon stock.
Here's what you need to understand, okay? She hasn't got to the secret yet, but you need to understand this. If you've ever seen or heard of the book by Robert Kiyosaki, Cash Flow Quadrant, in the Cash Flow Quadrant, I think it's the simplest way to explain what Elizabeth Warren just said. There are basically 4 quadrants, and depending on how you receive income, you're going to pay taxes based on how that quadrant is taxed. If you receive income like an employee, you're going to be taxed at progressively higher and higher tax rates, bordering on 50% of your income in taxes. Between state and federal, which ultimately means if you claim income as an employee, the more money you claim, the more you're going to pay in taxes. Now, the quadrant right below the employee quadrant is self-employed. It's someone who says, I don't need a corporation, I can do it on my own. And now you're going to pay some of the taxes that your corporation is willing to pay on your behalf. You're going to pay them on your own. And what Robert Kiyosaki says, if you don't do anything about it, you'll pay upwards of 60% of your total income in taxes. Once you move over to the right side of the quadrant, you have a business owner. And this is what Ken Langoon is talking about. He's a business owner. He's paid his fair share in taxes as a business owner. But as a business owner, you can pay no more than 20% of your income in taxes. In some cases, it can even go lower than that. Now, the bottom quadrant is an investor quadrant. This is where the game of money completely changes. In the bottom quadrant, this is how you claim your money as an investor. This is what Jeff Bezos is doing. And this is why Elizabeth Warren is telling you Jeff Bezos legally is not paying any taxes because of the way he's claiming his money. Let's find out.
And how does he then fund a lifestyle like he does? Not by cashing in Amazon stock, but by borrowing against it.
Oh,
right now,
baby.
We have a tax system, because it focuses principally on wealth, that actually doesn't capture the folks at the very top. It makes middle class folks pay, it makes working class folks pay, but it doesn't make those at the top.
Okay, so here's the fundamental misunderstanding that Elizabeth Warren does not get. The tax code is written. It doesn't matter where you're at. If you're an employee, if you're a multi-billionaire like Jeff Bezos, or anyone in between, all you have to do is understand the tax code. Did you hear what Jeff Bezos is doing? He's not cashing in his Amazon stock. If he did that, he'd have to pay taxes on cashing in that stock. But what he's doing is he's taking out equity, debt against his stock. He's using his stock as collateral, taking money from a bank, and he's backing that money, that debt from a bank, with collateral. My friends, how can you do this? If you don't own Amazon, if you don't have a stock portfolio that you can that you can collateralize and take money against via debt? How can you do it? My friends, this entire channel is dedicated to helping you see there's 3 asset classes that will allow you, anyone, me, you, no matter where you're starting, to do exactly what Jeff Bezos is doing. Number 1, it's a company. If you're a business owner, the entire tax code is on your side. Number 2, it's a real estate investor. As a real estate investor, you can actually access debt as money. Now think about this. Maybe you're not a real estate investor. Maybe you are a home owner. Have you ever gone to the bank and let's say you own a home. Let's say your home is worth $500,000 and you owe the bank $250,000 in mortgage. That $250,000 between your mortgage and what the home is worth, what is that called? That's called equity. Now what does that allow you to do? That allows you to go to a bank just like Jeff Bezos did and say, hey bank, I have equity. I'm going to collateralize my house, the asset. I'm going to allow you, the bank, to give me money via a home equity line of credit, and I'm going to use that money however I choose to use it. Whether I use it to pay for a new kitchen, whether I use it to buy investment real estate, whether I use it to put my kids through college, I can use the money however I want. That is income to me, but here's the caveat. At the end of the year, do you have to claim that income that was given to you via a line of credit? Do you have to claim that as income? Do you have to pay taxes on it? No, you don't. My friends, that is the secret. Now, the third asset that allows you to do this is high cash value life insurance. You can collateralize the death benefit on a life insurance policy and access the cash, the equity of a policy, 100% tax-free. So my friends, in this video, Senator Elizabeth Warren, because of her fundamental misunderstanding of how the tax code works, is trying to say it's not fair. It's not fair that Jeff Bezos isn't paying as much taxes as the average working class American. When in reality, what's not fair is the tax code is not taught to the average everyday American. And therefore, they, the ignorant, suffer because of it. They pay more in taxes than they ultimately have to. Now, what this means, my friends, is the playbook. The playbook for you to function like Jeff Bezos is found in the tax quadrant. If you start using life insurance, real estate, or a business as a source of income via debt, then guess what happens to your tax bill? It goes to nothing. You pay nothing in taxes. Now, today, my income comes from multiple different sources. I still have active income, and I pay taxes as an employee on my active income. But the majority of my income comes from the investor quadrant. And just like Jeff Bezos, it allows me to take that money, take that income, do whatever I want to do with it, but pay zero in taxes on that portion of my income that comes from the investor quadrant.
Wow, look at this. Do you know what this means? This will drive the girls crazy.
The secret that the wealthy understand. Ken Lagone on this, he understands that secret. He is making more money than he's paying in taxes by far because he's a business owner. That's how he became a billionaire. In order to build your wealth, the number one risk that you're likely facing is your taxes. If you're following the traditional path, I want you to consider this. All you've done is you've taken your tax liability, you've put it in a 401k and an IRA, you've shifted your tax liability to the future, the very thing you're saving for, a future stream of retirement income, and you will pay taxes just like an employee, ordinary income, the highest possible tax brackets at the time you can least afford to pay those taxes when you're retired. But on the other hand, if you build your wealth in the I quadrant, the investor quadrant, just like Jeff Bezos, just like me, you can pay less and less all the way down to zero in taxes. My friends, I hope this has been a revelation for you. It was given to you by none other than a socialist senator, Elizabeth Warren. Thank you very much. Even though she misunderstands what she gave you, she just literally gave you the playbook to building your wealth. Take a moment, like and subscribe to this video. If you have any questions on how to build your wealth using debt, drop them down below. Let me know what they are, and I'll jump in, I'll answer those questions for you, and I'll help you see how, just like Jeff Bezos, you can build your wealth using the tax code as likely your greatest advantage.